This video tutorial will cover the topics of the agency and principal relationship and also the roles and responsibilities of staff in a real estate office.
The agency principal relationship. Now, in terms of common law, the principal is your client. The principal is not the principal of your agency. So, the principal is whoever you have the written agreement with. So, for sales, the principal would be your seller. For rentals, the principal would be your landlord. You have a fiduciary duty and a contractual duty to your principal. So the real estate agent who is appointed by the client must comply with the laws when conducting their duties. They must act honestly, fairly and professionally in the performance of their duties. They must act within the code of conduct in the legislation as well as agency practice. Exercise reasonable skill, care and diligence, act in the client's best interest and also protect the client's assets and money. So fiduciary duty are those duties that are based upon trust. So to give you a couple of other examples, when you are sick, you will go to the doctor. The doctor will prescribe you with medication, which you will go to the chemist and you take. You assume that because they are the licensed individual, they're professional, they're educated in their field, that the information and advice that they're providing with you is in your best interests. It's the same when you go to a solicitor and you ask for legal advice. You will make a decision based on the advice that that person has given you and you assume that information to be correct. So salespeople and property managers have the same obligations put on them when they're talking to their sellers or their landlords about their obligations under a contract with a tenant, or even how much a property is going to sell for, what the best method of sale is, how much money they should invest in marketing. People make huge financial decisions based upon the information that you give them, so it's really important that it's accurate and correct. If you don't know information, you're not sure on something, the best thing to do is obviously find out rather than assume or guess anything when you're talking to clients. You also have a contractual duty, so very similar in the fact that you must follow the terms and conditions as set out in the contract. We'll be looking at the different types of contracts that you have in sales and property management a little bit later in the course. Roles and responsibilities of staff. So there are many different roles within a real estate agency. The main four are outlined on this slide. The responsibilities vary greatly depending on the agency setup, and this is not an exhaustive list, but most commonly, the licensing in charge will be responsible for supervising staff, running the trust account and supervising the trust account, business operating costs and performance reviews. Salespeople will be responsible for selling property, obviously, marketing, conducting inspections, whether it's open for inspections or by appointment, negotiating with buyers on behalf of their sellers, overseeing the contract process and settlement processes as well. Property managers will be responsible for collecting rent, routine inspections, leasing property and doing the same opens and inspections by appointment as salespeople do. They'll be responsible for terminations, vacates. They will go to the tribunal and represent the owner at the tribunal if anything was to ever come to that, as well as arranging and overseeing maintenance. Support staff in an office will be responsible for completing documentation, preparation of advertising, uploading properties to websites, taking phone calls and dealing with inquiries, and anything else that the salespeople and property managers need help with in an agency.